Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, we're going to slow stitch a swatch of fabric that you can use in your work. We'll choose 5 pieces of fabric, and I choose the same color family. I choose blues, but the pieces are all different. They're different prints, some are denim, so they're different textured fabrics. We'll cut them down to size, lay them out, and then stitch them down, essentially laminating them. And then we have a very interesting and textured piece to use in our work. Now, one of the things I like to do is to put all the pieces together and then line them up from lightest to darkest. Sometimes this is a bit of a challenge because some of the prints have a lot of things going on and a lot of darkness or lightness, and it's hard to determine exactly which one is the darkest. And I'll show you a trick that you can use with your cell phone with just the push of a button to make it very clear which one is the darkest and which is the lightest. From there, after we stitch it down, you'll have a beautiful element to use in your work. And here's my process for doing that. So this is the result that we're going for. We have a fabric collage in the background and then just repetitive running stitches, kind of laminating the entire piece together. And I, again, did this on an old quilt backing. So I'll show you how I do this. It's kind of interesting because I'm really focusing on the color here, even though I use a bunch of different fabric scraps. So to start with, I have just an old quilt that I cut up. It's about 6 by 3 inches or so. And this is just because this is the size that I want to use. It was the size of the other one that I showed you. And I'm going to create a series of samples in various colors. Today I decided I'm going to use blue. So I went through my scraps and I found a bunch of different fabrics that have different blues in them. And they're all different types of prints. I have denim, some of this, and so on. Anything that had blue that I really could see that I wanted to pick up. And as you can see, there's different degrees of darkness and the different textures, as well as all the different shades of blue. And that's what makes this piece really interesting. Because I'm going to stitch over it, or laminate it as I call it, with my thread. I just have some pearl here. This is number 8, but you can use embroidery floss, or you can even use sewing thread just as easily. First thing I want to do though is I want to create my design. And it's very easy, very haphazard. I know that my width, I want a little bit of the quilt showing through. So the width of my fabric strips is going to be somewhere on that quilt. You could always make them overhang if that's what you want, but I just like them to be bracketed by the quilt. So I'm just going to cut a series of these pieces here, and then I'll trim them down. And I like the way this runs. I could also have it go the other way, but I kind of like that. I have a bunch of color there. I can really focus on where I want that blue to go. So I'll just cut all these pieces into little strips. You can make them as thick or as thin as you like. You can always come back and trim them down further. And then I want this one to be a little longer, so I'll cut it this way. So I have all my pieces here. Now, one thing that I found to be most effective is the order at which the pieces are put down. They don't have to be in any particular order. You can do however you want. You can even make it completely haphazard. But I find that it's really effective if it goes from darkest to light, or lightest to dark, either way. But I think that that really works for me. So I'm going to start here, and I'll just eyeball what I feel are the darkest pieces as I go along. And I can play around with it. And again, I'll just take a moment and see if I have that right. And then I'll show you a way to test that out. So I think I have that down the way I want it, from darkest to light. But a good way to test that, if you're not sure, or if maybe you have 2 pieces of fabric that are very close together, is to get out your cell phone. It's a very handy tool. And so I just take my cell phone and I'll snap a picture of that piece that I have here. And then I'll open up that picture. And from there, I'll hit edit. And on my phone, I just have this area here where it has different filters to make the brightness changed. And I want to go to the black and white, any one of the black and whites, because this takes the color out of it. And so I can see that I have the dark to the light, but really this one here, because it has that black and white, isn't exactly the darkest. So I can play around with that again and see if I have it accurately done. I'll move that over. And then I'll snap another photo and go through the same process to see if it is, in fact, darkest to light. And so this one actually is kind of dark as well. So I can decide how I want that. And I think I want it to go like this, just because it has a little variation with the patterns. I'll take one more picture just to verify it. And then I can decide if that's how I like it. And I think it is, so I'm going to stick with it this way. So that's one way to use your cell phone and just a basic program to turn it black and white to see if you have the pattern the way you want. I'm just going to trim up the edges here. They don't have to match exactly. I just like them to be in the ballpark of one another. So I'll trim up all the edges. And for this piece, I want to get rid of the orange as the dominant color, just so it fits in there. And I can decide which ones I want to go on top of the other, what pieces of fabric I want to go on top of the other pieces, and just play around with it. And when I'm happy with how this looks, I'll put a pin in each one of these just to hold it in place. They might move around, so just take a moment to make sure that that's where you want it. You can always take it out and change it again. Now, if you wanted the edges to line up exactly, you can just cut them all together, making them the same size. Of course, you could use pinking shears or any type of scissors with a special edge if you like that look. But since I am trying to make it look laminated, I feel like the straight edge is the way to go, at least for me, for this block. So once I have them all pinned in place, I'll take one of my threads and I'll start going along the length from bottom to top. And again, if you'd like, you can go from top to bottom. I'm just going to stitch inside the first square here of fabric, and I like to stitch outside in a back stitch just to go over it to anchor it in place. So I have a little bit of the fabric stitched as well as the quilt backing. And then I'm just going to line up my needle and make stitches approximately the same length. And I do that straight up the piece. Now what I want to do is I can take a marker and make a line and just follow that line if I want it to be nice and straight. I tend to eyeball it. I like the process, and if there's a little bit of a wonky stitch, that's okay. But the one thing I do try and do is to make sure that my stitches go covering both pieces of fabric. So where the fabrics meet, I try and make sure my stitches start in one piece and then finish the stitch in the other. So that might mean that I have to shorten a stitch when I come to the end of one of these pieces of fabric. And I really take the time on that first row to really do that. This is kind of my guide for how all my stitches are going to go, because I want them to all match up ultimately. And that helps them look laminated, look like they're one piece with just all these interesting textures and patterns. So sometimes here where the fabrics stand up a little, I'll just have to come in, press it down, make sure it's lined up the way I want, and make that stitch. And I can always add another pin. I'm not really crazy about adding pins because they tend to really poke me no matter where I put them. So that's why I'm always a little frugal with the pin usage. You can also use a little glue stick to hold it down, but I don't really like stitching through the glue stick. You can just add a little few dabs, and they do make some for specifically for stitching. I find that a regular glue stick works just fine, and I only attach the glue in certain areas, just enough to really give it a little grip. So I'm almost finished with that first row. I'm really pleased with the way this is coming along. And I'm really taking my time making the stitches as short as I want. If I wanted them all long, I could have done just a few stitches, maybe 6 or 7, the length of this piece. But I think all the additional stitches add interest. Another reason I don't really like the pins is I tend to get my threads caught on them. But they do have their purpose. I'll start to remove them fairly soon after I get maybe another row or 2 down. And so once I come to the end, I also like to stitch through, again, the fabric as well as that quilt backing, so my stitches will overlap just a little bit. So there I have 1 row finished, and that's a good starting point to tack down the piece, and it gives me the idea of how I'm going to line up my stitches the next time. I like to turn my piece around, and I'm going to start stitching back the length of this, and now I can choose the distance I want those stitches. They can be very close together, or they can be a little distance apart. And I like them a little distance apart because that way you can really see the fabric. And that's kind of the beauty of this piece, is that you have all these different layers of blue, in this case blue, but you have all these different textures and prints of the fabric. So I'm just going to roughly stitch the length of this piece again with my thread, trying to match up more or less the threads and the stitches that I've already put down. I'm trying to keep my stitches parallel and that line going vertical. So continue. And after I get a few more rows done, I can start doing the running stitch. I could start it now as well, but I really want to just take my time, and that's why I stab in and out both times here, and I also enjoy that. But for the running stitch, you would actually move the needle through the fabric, so I poke the needle and then I try and match where the other stitch is, and it gets easier when I have a little more backing on the fabric, a few more rows of stitches, but I can feasibly stitch a few more stitches at a time, and it's just a little bit quicker. I like to wait until I have a few more rows because my fabric still moves around with just that 1 row of stitches and those pins. So that's one of the reasons I wait. And once I have that second row, I'll go as far as the thread will allow. Again, trying to match up those stitches, get to the end of the row and stitch off the last piece of fabric onto the quilt, and then I'll knot my thread right on the back here. I'll go through a nearby stitch just a couple times. So now I'll continue stitching just in rows the length of this piece, and then I'll show you that result. So this is what the piece, now that it's all stitched. I stitched over and beyond just the sides because I like that look. It looks a little finished to me, and I really like these frayed edges and the different heights of these pieces, and I think it's a very effective piece. I like the way it goes from dark to light. And if you don't get your piece 100% accurate dark to light, that's okay. It's the contrast is what makes this very interesting. I wanted to show you a few variations. I've already showed you the turquoise one right in the beginning, and then I have a green one and a red one. And so I'm working my way through the color families, and I'll continue with the remainder of the color families, yellows and orange and purples. I think it's a very interesting effect. It's a great way to make a patch, and it's another element that you can add to your fabric book. So that's how I make my stitched element. I like using it because it uses fabric scraps, and I get to choose my favorite colors. By keeping it in the same color family, it's very effective because then you unite it with your similar stitches. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for joining me today.